Picture yourself living near a set of islands and you've got a home on both the mainland and the island that you have to commute to. Or you use a boat to commute to work every day. I know, poor you. But the point being, you need a boat that's going to be able to get through different weather patterns so you don't have to be subject to public transportation. Enter the perfect commuter, the Nimbus C11. Let's go over what makes it the perfect commuter, and it's got to start with comfort on the inside. First of all, plenty of seating. I count 8 forward-facing seats just in this area alone. We can have this climate controlled with a diesel-fired furnace, 7-foot high overhead, so this is just outstanding. We want to add a little ventilation. Doors to both sides open up 38 inches, plus we have skylights up above that can open up. Excellent visibility, 360 degrees as a matter of fact. Now that's our climate-controlled seating. At the stern we have another seat, bench seat 61 inches across. There's a table in front of it. We can also blend the inside with the outside with this sliding glass door. This gives us an opening, 27 inches. Now, in addition to this being an ideal commuter, she's also an excellent family cruising yacht because all these areas are transitional. Let me show you what I mean. We can convert the forward-facing seats into a U-shaped dinette or booth seating, and we can also lower the table and convert it into a berth if we'd like. Notice there's dedicated storage for the extra cushions just to the side with pocket storage just above. And if we're going to do some dining, the tableware stores right underneath the bench. The aft deck can be opened up and used for fishing, and there are 8 rocket launcher style rod holders right up above. As we transition forward, the side decks are 16 inches wide. Bulwarks come up to 29 inches and rails top out at 35 inches. There are 2 steps, each one 8 inches. Rail all the way across the top of the pilot house. 17-inch high bulwarks, now rails topping out at 22 inches. That leads us to a sun pad on top of the trunk cabin with rails to both sides, and then a lounge all the way forward with a table just ahead of that. And it's expandable. Now, as impressive as this boat is on deck, what do you see down below? Now, we access the cabin just from the port side of the helm. Well, I noticed that when you come down the stairs that they're offset, so make sure you step in with your right foot first. And plenty of room down here, 5 feet 10 inches of overhead clearance, and it's 2 berths, 1 head. There's a berth forward, berth aft, head over to the starboard side, and galley over to the port hand side. Let's start by looking at the features of the galley. Galley starts with a 2-burner electric stove, Corian counter, stainless steel sink, all teak wood, storage underneath, refrigeration, plenty of storage behind. I like raised fiddles. It also serves as something to grab onto. Now just forward is a V-berth. It's 77 inches deep, 36 inches wide just behind the pillows, opening up to 66 inches wide at the foot. There are hull-side windows to both sides, and up above are opening port lights. Now this one gets its privacy from a sliding curtain. There are also courtesy lights, storage, and still plenty of teak. There's a locker right alongside. And notice we've got an increase in the materials, Alcantara suede and then overhead vinyl. Now just behind is our head compartment. Now what's unusual about this is that it's got a separate walk-in shower. It's also a hull-side window providing plenty of natural light. Now if we want a cabin with a little more privacy than a curtain, that's just aft. There's standing headroom of 5 feet 11 inches at the entrance. The berth measures 78 inches by 48 inches. And over the berth, we've got 19 inches. There's a seat just alongside the berth, which I find very comfortable. And there's a full-length mirror just inside the door. Opening port light, storage right alongside. Very comfortable and considerably more privacy. I'd say this is a great place to put the kids too. Now let's move on to our operational features, and we'll start right here at our power panel. It's got all of our breaker switches, our battery switches, our fresh water tank, and our diesel tank for our forced hot air furnace. All the way down the bottom is the battery charging system. Now let's take a look at the ground tackle. The hatch opens with a turning latch, and it's held open with a gas assist strut. Ground tackle consists of a Lumar windlass feeding an all-chain rode. There's an ultra anchor connected to a swivel 16 kilogram anchor mounted to a through the stem anchor roller. Foot control switches are to the foredeck on the right hand side. 12-inch cleats are to both sides of the bow, and notice that we have an open bow rail designed for bow end docking. As we make our way back down the side deck, notice the stainless steel grates for our deck drains. I open it up and we have fuel fills and pump outs. And that brings us to our helm. And this is a nicely laid out helm. Starts with the compass directly in line with the helm, and there are cubbies to both sides just behind beverage holders, but they're way up there, and there are a couple of more over here, way over there, but at least there are beverage holders. Twin 12-inch Simrad displays, and these are the Evo 3S displays, so we can put up to 6 different screens on these. Mercury vessel view display just below that. Electrical switches over to the left-hand side, all lighted when activated, and the joystick over on the right-hand side, right next to the DTS, the digital throttle and shift. Steering wheel is mounted to a tilt base, zip wake, automatic trim tabs, remote control for the bow thruster and the windlass. Simrad VHF tucked into a cubby over on the right-hand side, and it's nicely viewable. There's a footrest underneath the console that I can actually reach for a change, and there's a flip footrest underneath the seats. And take a look at these seats. High-rise seat back, adjustable headrest, flip armrests. They recline, adjust fore and aft, and they're on shock-absorbing mounts. I mean, these are really nice seats. Visibility is through wraparound windshields with no distortion to the corners. There are defrost vents, and I kid you not, look at this, side windshield wipers. Now, where everybody else would put an aft control station that only includes just a joystick, Nimbus includes the whole enchilada. I mean, come on. 7-inch display, the joystick, steering wheel on a tilt base, thruster control, digital throttle and shift, engine start-stop, and the safety kill lanyard. I mean, really, everything, not just a joystick. I love it. Only thing to make yourself aware of, this elevated platform on the deck, right where you need to be. Just make yourself aware of that. And that takes us to our power options. We can have twin 300, 350, or 400 horsepower Mercury Verados. We'll be testing with the mid-range 350s. And notice the convenient fender storage just ahead of the engines. We can also have diesel stern drives. That would be the Volvo Penta D4 320 horsepower option. That would go right underneath me, and because we don't have that option right now, we've got huge storage in this compartment. 78 inches by 68 inches and 28 inches deep. Remember, if we're using this as a commuter, you can get a lot of gear going to your house right here. Additionally, to both sides, there's deep storage. Now let's get her underway and see how she performs. The Nimbus Commuter 11 has a length overall of 40 feet 7 inches, a beam of 11 feet 4 inches, and a draft of 3 feet. With an empty weight of 12,345 pounds, 128 gallons of fuel, and 5 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 14,640 pounds. With the twin 350 horsepower Mercury Verados turning 16 pitch propellers and wound up to 6,000 RPM, our speed topped out at 50.7 miles per hour. Best cruise came in at 5,500 RPM and 45.9 miles per hour. At that speed, the 43.6 gallon per hour fuel burn translated into 1.1 miles per gallon and a range of 212 statute miles, all while holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 224 gallon total fuel capacity. Show plane in an average of 4.4 seconds, we reached 20 miles per hour in 7.6 seconds, and 30 came and went in 13 seconds. So now that I've driven the boat, I have a much better feel for how she handles and a better feel for the ergonomics. And a couple of things that I've noticed. The beverage holders, just the right size for a bottle of water, but anything other than that, like a koozie, or if you've got a Yeti, something like that, not big enough for that. The visibility, really like it, and I really like the side wipers. They're far enough forward so that if you do take spray over, it'll clear that area well ahead, but not so much back, but that's where you want it. Far enough forward so that you have visibility forward. The mullions, they're narrow enough where you're going to be able to see right through them. They're not hampering visibility at all, so I like that. And that figures because they're not really holding up a lot of weight up above us. So excellent visibility on this boat. Turns, when you put it into a turn, she'll lean over significantly into the turn, but we've got the skylights up above, so if you look through the skylight while you're into the turn, you've got great visibility over to the side of the turn. So that's a really nice feature. You don't lose your visibility when the hardtop comes down. As far as losing speed in the turn, if you put it into a gentle turn, you're going to lose about 5, maybe 10 miles an hour. If you put it into a hard overturn, like a performance turn, then you're going to lose significant speed. It'll drop from the 45, 50 mile an hour speed that we were doing at top speed down to about 20, 25 miles an hour. So you'll lose significant speed, but that's if you're really doing a performance turn. Who does that? A test captain would, but you wouldn't do that normally, so it's really insignificant. But I'm a test captain, so I feel compelled to mention it. I said at the dock that I like these seats, but now that I've spent time operating the boat in these seats, I really like these seats. So if you're going through the options list and have a tendency to maybe check these seats off or don't check these seats off, check them off. So she's clearly got all the ingredients that make her a qualified commuter, but there are so many more ingredients that make her an ideal family cruiser, all coming together in the Nimbus C11. And that's my full features inspection and performance evaluation. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.